All of the camp barracks had been torn down in the early 1950s. They were rebuilt for the film set. What are the special means by which the Buchenwald Memorial can tell the story of Germany's National Socialist past?
I think its first and most important attribute is the place itself. This is where between 1937 and the 11th of April 1945, Buchenwald concentration camp stood. Here over 250,000 people were incarcerated. They came from all over Europe, one could almost say from all over the world.
Do some people come to Buchenwald for the thrill?
There are visitors who expect to see a concentration camp at Buchenwald. But this is a memorial site, and that is disappointing for some people, in the sense that, well, it doesn't look anything like it did in 1945. We refuse to turn this into a kind of horrific Disneyland, although there's a demand for dark tourism like that.
What about historiography in the GDR? What proof is there that the self-liberation of Buchenwald, as it was described in Naked Among Wolves, never took place as such?
Interestingly, proof is provided by the communist detainees themselves. Many of them wrote reports on the 11th of April 1945. After the war, depictions of these events underwent a considerable shift into the myth of the communist prisoners fighting to liberate the camp. There are two main factors behind the creation of this myth. First, the Cold War. From a German communist perspective, Buchenwald was liberated by the wrong army, the Americans. Second, former communist prisoner functionaries at Buchenwald were exposed to hostility because of their role in the camp.
Stefan Jerzy Zweig was taken to the Buchenwald concentration camp together with his father in 1944, when he was 3 years of age. They survived and after the liberation went to live in Tel Aviv. The novel Naked Among Wolves is based on experiences of its author Bruno Apitz and on hearsay about the boy. The film's success determined journalists to look for Stefan Jerzy Zweig in the 1960s. Stefan Jerzy Zweig was found and invited to the GDR, where he attained great popularity. He left the GDR in 1972 and moved to Vienna. His father died the same year. His mother and sister were killed at Auschwitz. My question is, what rights does one have or doesn't one have as a survivor? For instance, the controversy of the memorial plate put up during GDR times to commemorate Stefan Jerzy Zweig's fate, which was taken down later on against his will. Why was the plate taken down?
In the GDR, The plaque didn't represent a symbol of remembrance dedicated to Stefan Jerzy Zweig. It was a sign, referring to the same story over and over again. At the so-called small camp, where during the last 100 days of imprisonment 13,000 people died, the plaque simply reads, "Site of the illegal military organization of April the 11th, 1945. And at the storehouse for personal effects, there's no explanation of the building's function. Just a sign which tells of a Jewish boy saved by German communists.
A few weeks after that interview, I read the closing words of Elfriede Jelinek in the book Tears Alone Are Not Enough. She writes, "The commemoration plaque with the name of the 3.5-year-old Jewish child has been removed from the Buchenwald Memorial. The name has also been removed, the worst thing of all for a Jew, a renewed expunging of a life, and replaced by a more generally formulated inscription. Because the naming of individuals, which is to say of life itself, because life always consists of individuals, was not permitted." To the present day, to the population, the boy in Fritz Kremer's statue represents the Buchenwald child. Initially, the so-called Gauforum in Weimar, built between 1936 and 1942, was to be remodeled into an anti-fascist memorial site. As the building was occupied by the Soviets, the idea was abandoned. The multi-purpose hall, built by forced laborers and former Buchenwald prisoners, was never completed during GDR times. In the 1990s, it was eventually completed and transformed into the Atrium Leisure and Shopping Center by the businessman Josef Saller.